we live in such a time now, the digital age, the
Yeah.
social media age,
Yep.
that if you're not talking to someone, you just feel lonely and depressed.
Yeah,
You just feel like,
that's so true.
like, why isn't anybody talking to me? Like,
Why is anyone knocking me on Messenger?
what am I supposed to do now?
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Tanvir Ahmed here. Welcome back to another video. And today we have with us Farhan Ishraque in this new episode of Deep Dive, where we bring in different people and share their stories with you. Farhan here is a junior of mine from school,
Yeah.
but back in school I didn't really know him, and then we somehow got together, and now we're here. So let's hear from you. So tell me something about you. So what are you doing right now, and where are you at?
So currently I am studying civil engineering at the University of Sydney in Australia. So it's just my first year. I just finished my first semester and currently on my winter vacation. So return to Bangladesh. Yes, that's where I met you in school.
Yeah.
And before going off to Sydney, what I did was completing the studies, A-levels, O-levels, just like a regular student. But besides that, I had my own organization, which is called DAWN, D-A-W-N, DAWN. And it's basically a social welfare organization, a student body organization, which aimed to carry out activities, different tasks that was dedicated or targeted towards the less privileged of the society. And my best friend Tehzeeb Ahmed and my group of friends from school and from other schools, we got together with an amazing group of team, and we did many projects like this. So it was both like having a student life and also having this off time, like running an organization, a charity organization. So that went. So yeah, that was it.
So can you give me an example of such an event or something that you did with?
Definitely. So we started back in when we were in grade 9, actually. So that would be 2014, actually. So we started in 2014. In the beginning, it was simple. Bring some food, cook it, pack it up, distribute it on the streets. And then when it was Ramadan, same thing, pack iftar, distribute. And then what we did was we did winter warmers. We labeled it that. Collect winter clothes that are left in the houses where it's not used, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we collected those clothes and we distributed those. We made like teams of volunteers who registered and signed up. We allocated them streets and sectors. They went, they collected, and then after collection, we distributed to the northern sides of Bangladesh. But after those projects, we actually sat down and asked ourselves, like, what can we do that could actually leave a major impact on Bangladesh? Because it's a country where there's so much to do, right?
Yeah.
There's so much to do in this country. And what we figured out is that we would actually fight against a mindset, and that mindset was accepting or tolerance for transgender community. So what we did was we asked ourselves which group of Bangladesh, which minority of Bangladesh faces the most trouble surviving or living. Yes, we do have beggars. Yes, we do have the underprivileged. We do have the amputated people, maybe which we may call disabled, right? But then we have this group that no one actually talks about in Bangladesh. From giving them housing, from giving them a job, they can't even beg. So the only way that they can earn some money is by harassing people, and that's the only thing that comes up, right? Like from the childhood, the memory only I have is when transgenders come, my parents tell me, just close your eyes, turn your head, and just walk away. Don't look at them, right? So at dawn, me and my friends, we sat down and we thought about it, like, what can we actually do? And we asked ourselves, do we know enough? Do we know enough about them to begin to help them? So it was more like a journey of knowledge to actually know about them. And we had to get to them to know about them. So what we did was we first thing, Google, where to find transgenders in Bangladesh, and then we had two options. One of them was this hospital, I think in Sabar or somewhere, and that didn't work out. But the second link was Bondhu organization. This is an organization called Bondhu.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit far near Tejgao over there. And so what they do is they're a well-established NGO of Bangladesh, but they have worked or they have association with transgenders as well. They carry out projects with them. So we email them, like, can we get in touch with the transgenders that you have in touch with? They're like, yeah, sure, come over, let's hear your proposals and everything. So we went over, me and my friend Tezi, we went over to their head office, we sat with the CEO, Shail sir, and we talked with him. And then he was impressed with our initiative, and then he was like, why don't you talk with my head of PR? She can guide you well. I'm like, yes, definitely, that would be great. And then we are directed towards the head of PR's room. We sit there waiting for her, and when she walked in, I look at her and she's a transgender. And I was just like, okay, so what should I do? Well, I was afraid, I was nervous, and I was shocked. I didn't know what to call her, Bhaiya, Apu, what to call her, because I'm in a formal situation. And she's kind of my boss here right now. It's not a person on the street that I can just do whatever. And then she sat us down, gave us coffee, and she heard what we had to say. And then she started speaking. And we have this mentality like, yeah, transgender, egula nongra manush of the society, they're illiterates and whatnot. But when she spoke, I probably one of the best English accents or spontaneity I've ever heard. And she was speaking, I was just like listening. And then I asked her, Miss, how did you manage education, or how did you get to this position being a transgender? And then she explained everything, that she had to fight for it when she was an 8-year-old girl and actually a boy, and then she started, having these physical changes. Her family kicked her out, and then she had to find shelter. She had to force study for her own education, somehow gather the money. And so while telling the story, she even got emotional. And then from that incident, what actually happened was me and Desi decided something, that this should get out there. These stories, these life stories, these struggles, they are actually the warriors of our society, and we need to do something about them. Maybe an awareness program, even that, something has to be done. And so what we planned was that it's not easy just to go around houses in Bangladesh and just say, hey, start accepting transgenders. We have to act on it. And what we modeled was, we will open up a business where we will hire and first train and then hire some transgender or LGBTQ community into our business. And when that business runs, people can see it as an example that, oh, are you hiring transgenders? Like, really? How can you, they're not like, basic human, they cannot do jobs. And then we can have an argument like, no, I hired them and they're doing just fine. It's just the matter of giving them an opportunity, right? And so our business was basically simple, like opening a food catering company. So we would have a chef. We trained so Bondhu actually gave us, Ononapu, she's the head, she was the leader of the transgender community. She's currently in Germany, she's doing great. So she was impressed by our initiative, and she came with like around 20 to 25 people to our headquarters of Dawn, and then we had a discussion, we had a presentation. And then what happened was, we told them about the idea that we would like to train you in terms of different skills. It might be computer, IT skills, MS Office, maybe chef, sous chef. And then for those of you who are interested in learning the skills of the sector of food, like chef and everything, cooking, you can join our business module as well. And then we had like 3-4 people who were interested right there, and they trained. We actually partnered with Marwa Kebab and Restaurant, which is in Nikunjo, right? So we went to the kitchen. They came, our LGBTQ community friends. They trained there by under the chefs of Marwa, and then after like 2-3 months of training, they joined our business module, and we opened up a canteen in a school called Stride International, where my friends studied. So from there, and we even supplied food to the local markets, which was prepared by them, and they would actually be the ones who prepared the food and deliver it as well, wear the T-shirts, wear ID cards, and then for a few weeks or so, we people actually noticed, and then we had something to say, like, if you give them a job, if you give them an opportunity, they'll definitely do it. It's just if they're shunned and they're just just ignored and spit on and all of this stuff, all the nasty attitude, then they have no other option or choice to harass you on the streets because they need to survive. And trust me, Tanvir bhai, I went to the places that they lived, right? So when their families kick them out, they go to this community, the transgender cult or community, where there is a leader, there is a shordar, and you have to give that shordar per day some amount of money. Only then can you live there. Otherwise, you will live on the streets. So by any means, they will have to gather that money, whether it's by stealing the money from newborn family that have a children, or some way. So it was quite an emotional journey, a knowledgeable journey, but as well as a transforming journey as well. On an individual level, as an organization, and knowing something about the country that was not known before, and as students, having school, having coaching, doing O-levels and AS and A2, but on the side, knowing this stuff. So it was, I would say, one of the most precious and most exciting phase of my life, actually, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a really enlightening
it was
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tell me something about your childhood. So
my childhood was, how do I say, okay. Okay. My dad is graduate from Buet. He's a civil engineer, and after graduating, we were I came from a middle class family, and he struggled. He worked hard day and night to make ends meet. One of the best decision I would say my dad took in those time back in 2002 and 3, when he was struggling making the ends of the family meet, he decided to enroll me in an English medium school. Back in the day it was Turkish Hope School, now it is International Bangladesh Hope School, yeah. So my mom said, how can we do this? But my father was like, no, I'll do whatever, but he'll study there. And then slowly but surely, since he was a civil engineer, and during the mid 2004 and 5, we had this telecommunication boom in Bangladesh. So Grameenphone, companies like Grameenphone and Banglalink, and so what they had to do, they were expanding their network in Bangladesh, and they needed towers to be built for the communication interlink upchange. And my dad actually went and gave proposals like, give me this contract and I'll do it. They were not so much in favor before. They were like, no, you were new, we don't know you. And then what happened was there were some risky sites, like some dangerous sites, like in Rakhine and Cox's Bazar and Teknaf, some in the wild zones where there were wild elephants and savage people. You needed police protection to work there. And my dad was like, give me those, I'll do it. And so Grameenphone was like, yeah, sure. And then he did it, and after he did that work with honesty and dedication, it was great. Then from there onwards, he started constructing more towers for Grameenphone, and alhamdulillah, around 80 to 90% of Grameenphone's tower in Bangladesh was built by my dad's company. That's how the company expanded, and within a short, within the 5-6 years, we went from, living in decent, a normal, barely making the ends meet of the family. We moved towards a higher lifestyle, living comfortably. So why I'm telling you this is because by my own eyes, I saw my dad leaving the house and then returning after 3-4 days, just working. And then I would travel by a rickshaw to school. Sometimes I would just walk and just take a tempo and come back home. But now that my dad bought multiple cars, so it's actually the appreciation for my dad's hard work that pushed me into doing more something than a student life. So I would say watching my dad struggle through and creating an empire that is unbelievable with his dedication, his honesty, his hard work, his links, his friends, his amazing group of friends from Buet, like, you know, Sohel uncle, Mornor uncle, and Zindur uncle, all of these uncles. They loved him, cared for him, inspired him. So, and one more thing, I would go to my dad's construction sites. So my toys were cement, pebbles, and rocks. And I was like a little boy, and I used to watch these huge towers. Buildings in Bangladesh are like, you know, no skyscrapers, maximum 10, 12 floors, right, maximum. But towers go tall. I would question myself, how can these little humans climb and just make up this tower? I want to do the same. And that's where my inspiration of civil engineering came from. So my dad even said, like, do you actually want to study? Why don't you go for, you know, study law, become a barrister, or study electrical engineering? I'm like, no, Dad, I'm going to study civil engineering, you know. So that's how my childhood shaped my dreams in this way.
So your dad was basically your inspiration.
My dad has been and will always be my inspiration. My dad is, to me, my hero, my everything. He's a role model, not just for me, but wherever he went, the place we lived in before, everyone respected and took him as an idol. And me as a son, I believe whatever he did, obviously, is my next vision to carry forward, definitely. Yeah.
That's good. It's really great to hear that you're carrying on the legacy.
Yes.
And you're actually passionate about carrying on the
Yes, I am.
legacy. It's
Absolutely.
not like you're doing it because you feel like you have to do it.
No.
Because you want to do it.
I absolutely want to do it. On the point of passion, being a citizen of Bangladesh, being a child who was born here, even though this country has many issues, even though we have a lot of problems, but then again, since we are in the construction field, we're in the real estate field, we are developing this nation, we have direct relation with the development sector, and I want to give my country the proper development that it needs. Using my dad's platform, using my knowledge that I bring from Australia, since I have the platform pre-made by my dad, my father. So I want to use my knowledge for the betterment of the people that lives in this country, whether it be roads, highways, buildings, headquarters, whatever it may be, but that's where I want to use it for. So that's like a higher purpose that I live.
That's very admirable, because a lot of people, a lot of talented individuals,
Yes.
they don't want to serve their own country.
That's
right?
true. That's
They
true.
want to go abroad and serve another nation because it's easier, I guess.
Well, if you sit down with them and have a talk with them, they will give you points that you can refute. They have their own understanding, but they will complain about many things, how it's difficult to manage everything here,
Yeah.
the law, and I get that. It's understandable. Everyone wants an easy life, a decent life, right? Everyone wants a just life. But then again, I believe that the students who are talented and who got the ability, I would say the ability, in terms of wealth, health, you know, if they're influential, their father's influential, if your dad has lots of financial stability, let's say, then you were in a position to do something. And I think we should do something, because if it's not us, then the question is who? Who will do it?
Exactly. That's the problem. We are so quick to blame,
We are very quick.
but we're very reluctant to actually do something.
Very reluctant. And actually, one thing, Tanvir bhai, I noticed when I went to Sydney, and I lived there for 6 months now. Yes, the lifestyle is set, everything is great, but there is nothing to do much. Like, you can explore things, you can, but unless and until you become like a master's or PhD degree researcher, on day-to-day lives, or you cannot actually go out and make something of your own. It's very actually difficult. In Bangladesh, you see a problem. Let's say you see people on the streets facing an issue. You can make something up, maybe an awareness program, maybe some this and that, and you can just start. You can start a small studio and just do whatever you want. You have that freedom here. So the possibility to do something in Bangladesh is endless. It's just that pursuit and that, what can I say, that determination that lacks here, actually.
True. So the more problems there are, that means the more opportunities there are.
to solve it, actually.
Exactly. So it's just two ways of looking at the same thing.
Same thing.
One person can only see the problems, the other person only sees opportunities.
Exactly. And I tried my level best to always have that angle of opportunity. What can I do to fix this? I don't need it fixed for me. Maybe I can fix it for them.
Yeah.
And just that mentality, alhamdulillah, it has taken me and my friends and my team a lot forward. And I'm inshallah hoping it will take us even far.
That's good. I share the similar mentality as well. I'm a very optimistic person.
Yes, absolutely.
And even all my friends, school friends, they all know that I'm a problem solver.
Right.
So one time, Fahim, when he came back, right, he asked me to name 3 of the biggest challenges of my life.
All right.
Right? And I couldn't find, I was thinking, I was like, challenges. What challenges did I face?
Just abrupt like that.
Yeah, I was just thinking to myself, and then he said something. He said, you probably just don't view them as challenges. You probably just view them as opportunities to, get over obstacles.
Right.
And then, actually, I thought about it, and I figured he's right, because I obviously had challenges. I obviously went through tough times.
Definitely.
But when he asked me, I just couldn't make sense out of it. Because to me, it's like they're just a part of life, right?
Absolutely.
I don't distinguish them from my life.
Exactly.
And that mentality actually helped me a lot to get through those tough times. And I see a blessing in everything. Even the challenges that you're faced, they are shaping you into the person that you can be.
Absolutely.
See, the challenges that we face, we get them so that we can outgrow them, basically.
Yep.
And
one thing, when we look at history, for example, all the great legends of history, they're the ones who went through the most challenges in their lives, and that's why they're legends today. So as generations progresses, and this is the information age, 21st century, we have different sets of challenges. So we have different people who are equipped to face those challenges. So we need to step up, face those challenges. That's it.
And another thing is the concept of failure. That is very, I would say, that is very intriguing.
Yeah.
Because from early on in our childhood lives, we learn from school that failing is very bad.
Which is very wrong.
Failing means, I don't know, failing is just bad. Failing is wrong. You can't fail. You're not allowed to fail.
You're allowed to fail. Like it's equal to just die if you fail. Like you are worthless.
Yeah. Failing means you're worthless.
You're worthless.
You're worthless. You can't do anything in life.
You can't do anything in life. Yeah.
That's so messed up. Because in order to be successful, you need to fail.
You need to fail.
See, Thomas Edison, he made the light bulb. But before making the light bulb, he did 1,000 experiments and he failed.
Yep.
The light bulb was the 1,001st experiment. So if he didn't push on, if he didn't continue to fail over and over again,
we wouldn't have alive today.
He wouldn't have succeeded. So failure is just a stepping stone for success.
Definitely.
And I feel like, the young generation, the kids these days, they need to understand that. I feel like it's lacking.
Yeah.
It's very lacking. We all hear stories of kids committing suicide because of bad grades.
That's true.
And that shouldn't happen.
Yeah, it really is a tragedy because the competition on the level of students is so high right now. Parents expect everyone should get an A star. I have heard arguments to this level where a mom or like a mother is telling her child, I feed you the same rice that your friend ate and he got an A star, why didn't you?
Yeah.
And if a student or a child hears that argument, then what goes through the mind actually, and productivity or curiosity, and we're just killing creativity at first when we are making them on the general norm. It's like a factory. You have to enter. Whoever you are, doesn't matter what you know, what you can do.
Yeah.
You have to pass these subjects, get A stars and nothing less, pass out, get a job. It's like that's it. It's like a resume of life. but failure actually pushes you sideways on your own way, on your unique destination that only you can achieve. If I believe that.
Yeah.
Because the part that I told you about my organization, we failed. There were times when the security guards literally kicked us out of buildings. They wouldn't let us enter when we went for marketing, telling people what we were going to do. They would just look at us and go like, "Aren't you students?" And we're like, "Yes." They're like, "Then just go study. Why are you doing this? This is not the time. This is not the time to do this." So their idea is when you are a student, you will just study. Then my question was, then when? So after studying, maybe a graduate and then a job, then settle, have a family, make parents happy. It's just never ending. So
True.
Failure, and we failed. We were pushed back, looked down upon, criticized. My relatives complained to my mother, "Why are you letting him do this? Why are you letting him go out of the house and return so late at night? Are you watching him? What's he doing?" And all kinds of negative thoughts. And I just told my mom, "Just trust me. Just have that faith in me." And my mom did. And today, alhamdulillah, she told me that, yes, I kept my faith on you and I got it back, you know. And I think parents have to give their children that leap of faith. Like, I taught you some manners and I hope you act on it. They cannot be constantly with them, lecturing them and just asking for good grades and excellent. Yes, grades are important, but they're not everything in life, definitely not.
Exactly.
I mean, how many legends of history are toppers of their class? If we know this famous saying, "Oh, they were dropouts of college," right?
Yeah.
Like we say, Mark Zuckerberg is a dropout, Bill Gates is a dropout.
Yeah.
So, but the key thing is they didn't finish. They knew their content well. They tried it out. They failed, and finally, it clicked.
That's right. The thing with them is they had a vision.
They had a vision. They
That's-
definitely had a vision.
You can't just say, "Okay, they failed, they dropped out. Okay, I'll drop out too
I'll
and I'll
drop
be
out,
successful."
yeah.
But if you don't have a vision, then
You need a vision.
where are you gonna go?
Yeah.
You need a destination.
You need a destination. I also think one thing is that when people ask me, what do you want to become in life? And I give them this 20, 30-year plan. And they tell me, "Oh, you have it all planned out." And I'm like, yes, I like my things planned so that I have small milestones to step and from them, the bigger ones, right? But I feel like this generation or our current generation or our junior generations, they are very much deprived of this planning. Like, when I ask them, or even my sisters, my cousins, "What do you want to become?" This question is so irrelevant to them. Like, our relatives used to ask us,
Yeah.
"What do you want to become when you
Yeah.
grow old? Boro hoye ki hote cha," right? And we used to say, "Oh, doctor, engineer," or
Yeah.
whatever it is. But now when we ask them, they're like, "Oh, I don't know." And I'm like, "Okay, don't you want to know?" Okay, it's just nothing. So, like, the pursuit of knowing yourself better and failing, like, I tried art and then I couldn't even draw an egg because I was so bad at it. So I was like, okay, maybe this is not for me. Then I tried playing guitar. I bought 2 guitars. I failed at that. I couldn't play music. Then I tried singing. I was even bad at that. Couldn't do that as well. And then I tried speaking with people, public speaking. And then I realized this is something I'm really good at. And I pushed myself, and then from 20 people, 50 people, 100 people, I even spoke in front of 2,000 people even. So after failing certain areas that I tried myself in, then I found my area of expertise. So I feel like that is really missing currently. What would you say upon this idea of knowing yourself better? What are you good at? So that you know what you want to become.
Yeah, knowing yourself is the ultimate challenge, basically.
Yeah.
It is. So, you know, when we meet a new person, when we make friends, you know, we ask them questions about themselves, we ask them about their personal life, about their philosophy, everything. We try to get to know them better, we try to connect with them. And the sad part is we don't do the same for ourselves.
We don't.
We live in such a time now, the digital age, the social media age, that if you're not talking to someone, you just feel lonely and depressed.
Yeah.
You just feel like,
that's so true.
Like, why isn't anybody talking to me?
Why is anyone knocking me on Messenger?
What am I supposed to do now?
Yeah.
But that time for yourself, you need that to, you know, dig deeper within yourself to find out what you want to do, to find out your talents, to find out your vision for life. I feel everyone needs to have a vision, or at least find a vision.
Find a vision.
You know, you don't have to create your own vision. Just if you can't create your own, if you can, that's great. If you can't, just find a vision. Follow someone else. Follow someone's vision that you align with, right? So vision is very important. And you talked about milestones, so small steps. I actually have a opposite philosophy of that. I don't take small steps. I just have a one goal, one final goal. It doesn't matter how I reach there. I just want to reach there. Right? I don't care about the small steps. It doesn't matter how, whether this way, that way. Just get there. That's my philosophy, basically. One great vision. So my vision is to live in a world in which depression doesn't exist and where everyone is basically living up to their full potential. Now that may sound like an impossible vision, which I would say it is. It is impossible to have zero depression. But that's the point, right? The thing is, so they did a study with athletes. So athletes have visions to be the best at what they do, right? So footballers have visions to be the best footballer. So one example was Michael Phelps.
Oh yeah, the swimmer.
Right? He had a vision to be the best, to be the most medaled Olympian in history. He wanted to have the most medals in Olympic history. And he achieved it. He achieved it. And do you know what happened right after he achieved his goal? Depression.
What to do next?
What to do next? I have achieved my goal. What do I do now?
What do I do now?
Depression. So that's why I think it's important to have an idealistic vision that you will never reach. But you're going to die trying.
Let's see.
That gives your life purpose all the way through. You never lose that sense of purpose.
Okay.
So that's why I have this idealistic vision. And whatever I do in life, whatever decision I have to make, it goes through that filter. Is it taking me closer to my vision or further away from my vision? If the answer is the latter, just reject that thing. So everything that I do from here on, I do for the sole purpose of reaching my vision, going closer to my vision. I know I'll never reach it, but get as close to it as possible. So for example, companies. So the purpose of a company should not be to make money. The purpose of a company should be to solve a problem, right? To make the world a better place, to make the lives of people better, right? That's what the iPhone was. That's what the vision behind the iPhone was for Steve Jobs,
Brilliant.
right?
Brilliant.
So he didn't do it for the money.
Yeah.
And as we know, that changed the whole
course of humanity, of technology.
Right. Now, you can think of it like, you can think of the company as a car, and money is the fuel.
Yeah.
You don't buy a car just so you can buy fuel, just so you can burn fuel. You buy a car to go somewhere. So if you're saying that success to me is money, then that you're basically saying success to me is having as much fuel in the car as possible, but I don't know where to go.
It's not idealistic.
Yeah, what are you gonna do with that money? That's the question.
That's the question. Like even those who say money is success, you give that person $20 billion, you have money. What will you do with this? And then they'll be puzzled like, okay, now what to do?
Yeah.
So, and people who have a vision, when they have money and you can see them utilizing their money, giants like Elon Musk and, Jack Ma, they started small. They got money in their way. Then they reinvested. They were smart they knew that just like a car, their company was just like a car. Elon Musk's Tesla, literally a car. And then he went way out of the box. It was like people say electric cars are boring. I'll show them. My vision is I'll prove them wrong. That was the vision. Prove them wrong. Yeah. And now he has money, he has a vision, he's working, he's nonstop. So I feel like if you, with the right vision, you have the car, you have the fuel, then the journey is just sweet from there on. So
yeah. And you told about Jack Ma. Then the good thing, the funny thing about Jack Ma is all his failures.
Oh yes, he.
So we can literally learn from him that failure is good.
Yeah.
He he said in a talk that he applied for a job at KFC. At KFC with 14 other candidates. And he was the only one who didn't get the job.
13 accepted, 1 rejected.
1 rejected, he was the only one.
Yeah.
And look at him now.
$38 billion. Alibaba is literally, there is not a single thing they don't have in their inventory. They literally give everything. And even the latest talk of Jack Ma that I heard, it was actually quite inspiring. He said that on the point of success and money. So he said that don't think that money is success. And I was like, okay, let me hear what he has to say. And he said, I cry. Being a billionaire, I even cry. And everyone was puzzled, why do you cry? You have so much money. He was like, I cry because I can't spend enough time with my family that I wish to do. So to him, that is happiness that money can't buy. So there are certain things that even money cannot buy, which is priceless. Your relationship with your son, your wife, the family. So he says, I cry. I made my own company, and now it is so huge that I literally have to work all day and night as an entrepreneur, right? And he has so little time to give to his family that it makes him really sad at the end of the day. So that's what he said in that talk show, aiming the younger generation, that it's not the money that you have to run after. It's the balance of life. You earn, you spend the money, and you spend time. You give yourself as well to the people who are important in your life. And then he also said that my company is so big now, but even if it's a company of 500,000 people, and even if 5% of it is bad, let's just 5% of employees are bad, that's a lot of people. So he says that the stress and everything, it accumulates. It's not like once you get rich, things just suddenly get easier. It gets tougher and tougher. That's we see like the suicide rates of the world. Only like the top elite billionaires, rappers, musicians, even like one of our closest generals like Chester, people like that. They just do this because the fame is there, the money is there, the lifestyle is there, but yet something is missing. So it is a challenge for us to find out what we truly want. And oftentimes money is not it.
Yeah, I think money is totally irrelevant when it comes to happiness.
It is.
I don't think money has anything to do with happiness at all.
It doesn't.
You can have no money and still be happy.
You can still be happy, yes.
You can have all the money in the world and still be depressed.
Yes. But do you think happiness is an acting choice?
Happiness...
Is it an active choice of a person that no matter what's happening in my life, I'll choose to be happy?
I think it is.
Yes. Because, like the issue of overthinking. I have seen people, they had no, what can I say? No struggles in their life. They had everything. Money, cars, house, mansion. But let's say they wanted a special person in their life and they couldn't get it. And they went into depression. And I actually asked the person, you have everything in your life that anyone would dream of. Then that person is like, no, but I want that. Right? I want her, I want him. That's what's gonna make me happy. But if you just sit and realize, if you go out on the streets, you'd realize that what I have, it's contentment basically, not happiness. It's contentment, being content with yourself, with what you have. That is really important. Yeah. Right?
It's contentment and being grateful for it.
Being grateful for it. That like any moment, like whatever I did, I could have done better, and I don't deserve this. It was given to me. The gratefulness, So, and because nowadays everyone is given things. Many like our fathers and grandfathers, they earned everything. They worked so hard, their sweat and blood and everything. But because we just get that favor, we don't feel the urge to work ourselves, to spend our sweat. We're like, what's the point? We have enough. That saying, whatever your dad has made, your 3 generations can just sit and sleep and eat. And I object to this statement so greatly. Like that is something you should not say in front of children at all. So, yeah. And in Bangladesh, actually, currently, the circumstances, if one person goes really high, the next 3 generations will not work at all. Eat it up, then go down, which is exactly what happens, and then someone again will rise up, go down. So if it maintains, then not only is it you that will benefit, the people that are employed will also benefit from it, and bilateral, the country, the people, everyone, the nation will benefit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, you know, the example, you gave the example of your dad.
Yeah.
So my dad's story is very similar. So we started off really not so great. Okay, not so great. Right. I used to study in a Bangla medium school when I was in playgroup, nursery, or kindergarten. Bangla medium schools don't have kindergarten. But
they don't. They literally want to.
I think somewhere, but I was in Bangla medium.
Okay. And
then, you know, slowly but gradually, our financial state started to improve. Then my dad wanted me to go to BIT back then, back in when I was in grade 2.
It was a good school.
Yeah. So he wanted me to, and just like your mom, I was like, can we really do this? We can't afford this. This is too much. And like, it doesn't matter. We're going to send him.
Yeah.
And they did. Then I was in BIT, and then DPS came.
Yes.
When I joined
2009.
DPS,
Back in 2009. Yes.
Yeah. And then, that's how that happened for me as well. So I had kind of a similar journey as you.
Yeah.
And I also, so my dad now has a lot. And even if I don't work, I can just use up his wealth.
Yeah.
But I just don't feel, it just doesn't feel right.
Doesn't feel right.
To me. You know, it just doesn't feel, why should I? So my mom sometimes gets mad at me when I say, oh, eta to babar gari, eta to babar taka. It's like, babar taka mane ki, eta toder taka na, eta to amader shobar taka. I was like, but I don't know, I just see that as my dad's stuff. I don't view them as my stuff. Although I'm using it, I'm not saying, okay, it's that, so I'm not going to use it. I am using it, I am using all of the facilities, but in the back of my mind, I have this thought that this is not mine. I did not earn this. This is a privilege.
Yeah.
Okay? I did not earn this. This is not my right.
Right.
This is a gift. Okay? That's what goes through my mind. And I feel like I have to, like, my dad earned a lot, but I'm gonna earn more than him.
Yeah.
That's my philosophy.
Same. Yeah, absolutely same here. Like, if dad can do this much, then we should do more.
Yeah.
Because we were given much better education.
Yeah.
Much better facilities.
True.
Much better teachers. In fact, I would say the best teachers that the country could offer. I mean, honestly. Like, if we remember our teachers back then, they sacrificed everything for us. So we are literally in a position to do so much more. And if we just waste that on just sitting and doing nothing and just, visiting dad's office and just checking up on something and taking money for it. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. You definitely should check up on your dad's business. But to do more than pushing yourself to the limit, I think that's absolutely a necessity. Absolutely a necessity.
Yeah. Like, I feel like you and me, we're like the bridge between the two generations.
Yeah, exactly. So we have our dad's generation, and then we have the technology generation, and then there's us, the millennials, I'll say.
Yeah.
So children who didn't have a smartphone, who we got a smartphone,
we went through that phase.
We went through that phase.
Yeah.
Seeing Siemens and Nokia and Motorola, and then iPhone, right?
Yeah.
We were the ones, step by step we increased.
Yeah, but these days they just get iPhones when they're kids.
Yeah, like my smallest sister, she wouldn't eat without seeing YouTube on an iPhone.
Yeah.
And then when I see Pokemon or Digimon, Beyblade, and she's like, what is this? But she watches like Shin-Chan and all of this. I'm like, what is that? But we can explain to them what we went through. But I consider myself lucky, in fact, to be able to, and grateful to be able to go through that phase as a millennial, seeing that change, seeing the technology, come into the lives of people. Like, obviously, but you can relate to this, the use of computer back then, right? We would have this CRT monitor, and just turning it up and like it was whoa, what is this?
I remember. So I was আগে যখন খিল খেতে থাকতাম তখন I was the first among my neighbors to have a computer. Among my friends আর কি. They used to come to my house, everyone.
Like
this would be like a ceremony. Like turning on the computer. This was so whoa.
Whoa. The light would go on and the screen would come up. Press F1 to sound like F1. And then so like first time my dad bought the computer and I'm like, what to do with this? And then I went to my dad's office. It was like an office of like 10, 12 employees. One of them showed me the game like, Need for Speed and Road Rash at that time, House of Death. And I was like, whoa, computers can do these.
There was Hercules.
And then, all of these games. This is amazing. So from there, where we have come, like literally we cannot think of, maybe our days, like as students, without laptops, smartphones and computers, we cannot operate a function. Even like the concept of internet. Back in the day was nothing, but now you go to a restaurant, if there is no Wi-Fi, no one would eat.
True.
And there are restaurants where they say we'll decrease the price of the food if you don't ask for the Wi-Fi and socialize. Like we went from that spot where we didn't care about internet to like I would die. I would rather not have water, but I'll need Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi is like a necessity right now.
But one interesting thing that happened when I was like in our final year, we did this Duke of Edinburgh thing. It was like an international program of activities, So DPS had that, and we actually went to Ghazipur. So it was like an outdoor thing in the woods, in the hill treks. You trek, you swim, you walk, you perform many activities. It builds you up, like an activity kind of a thing. So, but the key idea was to detach yourself from technology, communication, and just learn the instincts of survival, okay? But we were supposed to stay there for 2 days and 1 night. So we went there. Within 20 hours, everything was going good. It was great. Everyone was having fun. But then when night hit, before going to sleep, everyone started growling and screaming, we need our phone. And the question was like, okay, fine. The teacher's like, okay, I'll give it, let's wait. Like, no, now. And the question was like, why are you just suddenly going crazy? They were like, our Snapchat streaks are gonna break. Right?
Oh my God.
And I just sat back and I was like, okay, like, all right.
I've seen my friends do that.
Isn't it?
Just
exactly. Like if I'm not gonna complain against anyone or anything, but just this idea that a streak is gonna give you this burst of happiness. Oh, I'm maintaining this thing, like the sense of, I would say, false happiness or something. But you are in a place that you can barely come in your life maybe once or twice, enjoy this. It's a memorable experience, treasured with your teachers and your friends. We used to look up to these experiences like, man, when I'm gonna grow up, when can I go out with my friends like this without parents? But then when I can finally go there, if technological things, Snapchat streaks, like nowadays, stories is the most common thing. Back in the day when the Snapchat had stories, but now Messenger, Instagram, everything has stories. And people, if they do not show something in their story, that means they're not living life. My friends ask me and go like, why don't you upload anything? You're doing so much, why don't you show anyone? I'm like, what will I get out of showing anyone? Like my work will speak for itself. I don't show anyone that I'm doing this or that, right? And people take it as a means of communicating, like to the point, when am I getting up? My room picture, my food, my shopping, everything is out there as stories. Like when people see it, is the number of people, they get this false sense of satisfaction, I feel like. Because back in the day, we were just happy kids playing. We didn't care. We had like few friends. That was amazing. But now we need extra friends. I need to know people. I need to know everyone who lives there. So
the thing is, we, like a lot of us, we want to show that we're having a great life, even if we're not having a great life.
But we have to show them.
We have to show them. Exactly. And this internet, this social media, it just made everything easy to fake.
Superficial.
Superficial. Everything is like you can literally create a false identity for yourself.
You can.
You can show people something that you're not.
Absolutely.
And It's interesting because we call it social media, but I feel like
It
we're
destroys social
becoming
media.
unsocial.
Absolutely.
Right? Like you're sitting in a restaurant, face to face, you're both on your phones,
Yeah.
chatting with someone else. What about the person right in front of you? And this that we're having right now,
Yeah.
this is missing.
This is missing. And like before, back in the day, many people would just normally randomly talk, get to know each other better.
Yeah.
That's how links built up.
Yeah.
People knew each other, they could help each other. But now, if someone is shy, so the excuse is awkwardness and shyness, right? They use this to resort back to their social platform, and they're just getting comfortable. Like, I was a shy child. I was,
too.
yeah, I was so afraid of talking to even my guests when they came home. You know, mom's like a salam diya. So I'm like,
I know.
I'm so afraid.
I know.
So shy. But had to push myself, had to forcefully talk to people,
Yeah.
to manage things, handle things, and then finally we are here. But now if you just go and ask a child, hey, come talk to the guest, this is on the phone, like, no need.
Yeah.
I'm on my phone, I'm playing games, don't disturb me, don't bother me. There's no need to communicate and push themselves back, like they're served everything. So I honestly don't know how we can actually get out of this. I feel like when we realize, it's gonna be too late, right? There are actually movements going on to, restrict social media and internet.
Yeah.
But then again, internet has become such a basic need in the lives of
Yeah.
us right now. So it's honestly what I feel like is the decision on an individual level. How much are you exposing yourself to the social
It is.
media? One thing I learned when I went to my university is I went from, as a student from Bangladesh, right? My Facebook was so active. But when I added friends from Australia, Singapore, different countries, the Netherlands, the New Zealand, all they had is just nothing, not even a picture, no cover, nothing, just the name, that's it. And I asked them, like, why is it blank? And they're like, we don't actually care much. We just live and we just go to college, we work, we live our life, and that's it. And I took inspiration from that. I'm like, yes, because the amount of time I spent in my first semester on social media, had I not had that false sense of satisfaction, I would have done much better. So it's a process, it's a realization.
It is.
Failure. That's where you get it.
It is. And I see, well, since this is the first time we're getting exposed to all these new devices,
Yes.
so there is a bit of trial and failure.
Yeah, there is
trial and error, right?
Trial
so
and error. Trial and error is always there.
the kids that are growing up now, they're growing up, like you said, they don't eat without watching a YouTube
They
video.
don't.
So that is a very, very toxic habit, right? For a kid to be addicted to a device like that,
Yeah.
that they're not going to eat.
Yeah.
And I feel that the parents, of course, they do that to save them the trouble, because
Yeah.
when you give the tips, it just keeps quiet.
Yeah, it just gets quiet. It's a
Right,
lot of
right.
trouble, yeah.
Okay. So I understand that.
Yeah.
But even the creators, Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg, the creator of Facebook and the iPhone, they themselves knew about these things. Steve Jobs himself didn't allow his children to use iPhones.
Yeah.
They used flip phones.
Flip phones.
And Mark Zuckerberg now, who's the co-founder of Facebook, someone else, I forgot the name, he also doesn't allow his children to use social media. Because he knows the side effects.
The potential damage that
Yeah.
can be done. I was reading the article of Melinda Gates, and then even the daughter of Bill Gates, and she said how Bill Gates didn't allow them to even have a phone until they reached grade standard 10, and then they had a flip phone, and then I was shocked. I was like, maybe parenting is what needs to change. Technology will always be there.
Yeah.
And technology is here to make our lives better.
Yeah.
We cannot stop
Yeah.
technology. But what
Exactly.
we can change is the way we treat technology, we use it. Because it's not a child's fault that she got addicted to, or he got addicted to YouTube. It was the parent who allowed him to get the phone. Maybe it would have been difficult at first. The kid would nag, the kid would cry. But maybe research has to be done. People, who study psychology, we need to push and invest on psychology. And students who want to study psychology, we cannot be like, this is not a subject to study. This is something to study. Figure out what kids want, figure out what teenagers want, and then start fixing society and change the rules, change the norm. That's what I think urgently we need currently. We have enough doctors, engineers, we have the knowledge. We need historians, we need archaeologists, we need philosophers, one thing that I really, if there's one tragic moment that I'll forever be, I'll keep in my heart is that, during the 1971 liberation war of Bangladesh, Pakistan army, when they were on the forefeet, they were losing the battle, they did one thing that is smart on their end because they were losing a war. It's their intention of damaging. They accompanied everyone, they accumulated everyone, and literally they selected and killed only the intellectuals of Bangladesh. The question is why? Because they could think, they could shape the society, they could have dictated where to go, right? So intellectuality is what we need to appreciate, not money, not power, not wealth. Intellectuality is what we need, Like an intellectual person cannot, it's fine if he's not rich, but if he has wisdom, if he's intellectual, definitely we'll listen to that. So, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing here is we listen to the rich. We don't listen to the wise.
We listen to the rich because we think like, oh, he is rich. If I listen to him, maybe I'll get some of the richness. So we are ready to do anything by them.
Yeah.
And it's just a cycle loop. The rich gets richer, the poor gets poorer, and whoever sides with the rich somewhat makes of a fortune, and he's happy with that. Like even the education system, like we study to get a good job, but I'm sure you have seen countless stories where even graduates, engineering graduates, work for 15,000 a month. That's the equivalent salary of a supervisor or peon in a government agency, right? So
I know. I was just telling about this to my friend the other day.
It's an issue.
I was telling him how the education system is actually built to keep the rich rich and to keep the poor poor.
It is built like that. It is built like that, honestly. So, about the education system currently that we have, do we learn about managing tax income? How to manage our money, our accounts, our finances?
Nothing.
Because the people who created this system, they know if we know the loopholes from before, they cannot benefit. And since they are rich, they cannot maintain their empire. So it is designed to keep the richer rich.
It is.
So it is. We are getting very philosophical here right now, but I feel like more people should have this discussion because there needs to be a movement actually. Yeah. So one thing I really like about the universities abroad, I would say, is that and even our Cambridge and Edexcel syllabuses, they constantly change, right? After 3-4 years, they change. And at first, when I was a student, I was that unlucky batch, the student from that unlucky batch who just got the syllabus changed before the exam. But then after passing the exam and getting a good mark, I questioned myself, like, why do you need to change it? And then I realized, like, it's relevant and you need to stay relevant to the age that you're living. And then before going off to Sydney, and since I had sufficient grades, I actually told my dad, you know what, I'm just going to try the universities in the country. If it happens, I'll stay. If it doesn't, I'll go. So I actually tried for BUET and IUT, right? But then I had such passion because I love my country and I want to do something for it. So I thought, why not study in the country and do something while I'm studying here? That was like a brief change in plan. So I went to Udbhash, I got admitted there, and I kept a home tutor who was from BUET as well. And it was all right, but depression hit me very bad. Not because I was not, achieving my goal or anything, but because I suddenly got into an environment that was not relevant at all. I had to memorize, let's say, 200 math formulas, right? The question was, why do I need this? Why do I need this, right? Yeah. So then I realized something, that the education system, the content is so outdated, right? It belongs to times that are so long back gone that a student studying that will not benefit him at all. It might benefit a student who studied 50 years back, 60 years back, maybe even 30 years back, but not anymore, right? So, and then since then, like, you know, studying, actually, if a student studies properly with passion, is one of the best things out there. Like, the teachers that we had, like, you know, Zahid Bhaiya, his lectures, the inspiration that we got, he used to sketch everything on the board, give a lecture, and I was just like stare, like, wow, education is fun. I would be sick, yet I would go to his classes just for his lectures, you know. So it was amazing. So if, the way it's taught, if the knowledge is relevant, if it inspires a student, then the student, nothing can stop him because he's now motivated to do something, right?
Yeah.
So, but if that motivation is broken at the very beginning, like for example, mathematics, how many students hate mathematics? Because from the beginning it's taught wrong, right? It's taught like you only have one correct answer and everything else is wrong. But I have seen like experiments going on that how you can, there are multiple ways that you can learn mathematics. So these kind of changes, I think it's high time we need to practice this, right?
Yeah.
For the betterment of the society, from a societal point of view.
Also, I think the whole education system ultimately is going to get outdated and it's gonna dissolve because of all this digital era. I think everything's like in maybe 20 years time, people are not even gonna go to schools anymore. They'll probably just learn everything online.
Online, whatever skill they like. Whatever course they want to take.
I mean, these days you can get money for anything. You can get paid to be a gamer.
Yeah.
Right.
One of my friend, he won, I think, around $5,000 because he won a PUBG tournament. And he was so happy. And I was like, this is something great. And then he was like, yeah, I have this skill, I have this talent, I practice. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Exactly.
I mean, he says, I earn more than an engineer, a full-time engineer. $5,000 in his hand.
Yeah.
And I was shocked. So that's when I started questioning, like, maybe other skills are just as much appealing right now.
Right.
Before, opportunity was very streamlined. And the sense of, I would say, like, the sense of respect with a profession, every discipline is respectable. That's what I would say. Because from a childhood, I was taught only being an engineer, becoming an engineer, a doctor, and a lawyer. Anything other than these, it's just nothing, right?
Yeah.
But, right, any profession is respectable. It's something I learned abroad. They really appreciate that. A cleaner, a street cleaner, a garbage pickup, anything is respectable.
True.
It's respectable. But in our country, since we only want, like I feel like in Bangladesh, there are more engineers than the United States. We honestly have more, we do. Statistically speaking, we have more engineers as graduates than the United States of America. What's the point? Right? So the quality is definitely missing. So to fulfill up that void, we need the people who are taking the knowledge from other better places. But then when they have the opportunity, come back here and give the knowledge back to the country, because eventually this is the country and the soil that provided you with everything that you are today, right? You cannot just ignore that. You cannot just ignore that. It's completely fine if you settle abroad. But if I have seen many people that who settled abroad, lived abroad for 20 years, 30 years, got their PhDs, got their postgrads, masters, they did research, and then they returned back. And they struggled, but they returned back, opened up a school for the street children. They returned back and they, started a clean water program, something like that. Then I asked them, like, you were doing so great abroad, you were earning in the millions. Why return back? They said that there was no sense of purpose. And that's, I believe, like the most important thing, to have that sense of purpose.
It is. That sense of purpose is what's gonna keep you going.
Yeah.
Right? Without that, you don't, it's like a compass, right?
Yes.
Without a compass, you don't know which way to go. You're just roaming around aimlessly. You need purpose. And also about fulfillment, right? I feel like the only way, actually, I believe the only way to be fulfilled in life is to help others.
Yeah.
Right? That to me, that feeling you get after you help someone, that is like true bliss, right? That
Absolutely.
is fulfillment. That is happiness,
Yeah.
right? Money cannot buy that. Right? That is missing. And so I made a video a while back about the purpose of life.
Okay.
And I said that the purpose of life is not happiness. The purpose of life is usefulness, right? To be useful to the world, to be useful to the people around you.
Yeah.
So that's important, to be useful.
Definitely it is, yes. There are many ways you can be useful. You can help the country by even cleaning garbage, by planting trees. But since you talked about that being useful and actually helping others, I have never felt in my life more satisfaction than helping out people when I actually started my welfare organization. That has given me, like, even though we face so much hardship running such a unorthodox idea on the streets of Bangladesh, like a country like Bangladesh, right, where mentality is very difficult to change. I would say near impossible to change. But even when after every day working like endlessly, the exhaustion and everything, when I would just sit back and then one person would text me like, "Thank you for listening to me," or like, "Thank you for understanding us. No one did, but you did." And just looking at that text, everything just vanished. All the tiredness, the exhaustion, everything just vanished. I was just smiling because I know maybe because of me, if someone else is happy, then I got no reason to be sad.
Right. That is success.
That is
success. That's not failure. You succeeded.
Yeah.
Even if one person, I make videos, right? I'm doing this for more than a year.
Yeah.
And I have like 620 something subscribers.
Uh-huh.
And for 1 year, that is pretty depressing. For me at least, right?
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 1 year and I only get 623 subscribers. But sometimes I get comments, right, on my videos. The comments where people show their appreciation for my work. And I also have a Facebook page where I post the same thing. And over there, on Facebook, you can private chat, right? So I have had multiple people knock me up and tell me about their problems. And I actually counseled them.
Yeah.
And that was so fulfilling.
It was.
And it just made everything worth it. I mean, at the end of the day, even if I can help one person improve their life, that is a success.
Definitely, yes.
That's what keeps me going. I mean,
you should.
There are some people tell me like, why are you doing this? Like, erokom to onek joni kore, right? Erokom to everyone's a motivational speaker now. Shobai kore. Like, why are you doing this? Plus, Bangladesh to nobody even values it. So why are you doing it?
It's ridiculed. Eta niye but eta hashir patro to motivation dao. Etar mane ki?
Yeah. So why are you doing it? I just say I'm doing it because it needs to be done. Because no one's doing it in Bangladesh. Jara kore, onekei kore, they're all in other countries. No one's really doing it in Bangladesh. And even, let's say we have motivational speakers, we have life coaches in Bangladesh as well, but they are from the previous generation, right? I'm closer to the next generation than they are. So I feel like I'm in a better position to understand them better. And also this whole concept of empathy, understanding someone else. I feel like that is a talent of mine. I feel like I'm talented in that area. I feel like I am able to understand the person sitting in front of me, to have a deep connection with the person in front of me. That makes me want to believe that I can do it. That gives me motivation. That is, I don't know, how I realized my purpose.
That's great, and I hope you keep striving towards that purpose, and more of us, your juniors as well as people who subscribe and watch your videos, can follow through and actually benefit from the content, honestly speaking, because on YouTube they're endless. I think a researcher said that if you watch every single video on YouTube, your life will end. But
the videos won't end.
Content on YouTube won't end, right?
That's true.
But out in this endless ocean of information, if there are some that give you this tiny ray bit of hope in life, because at the end of the day, everyone has certain struggles. Some people are going through breakups, people are having difficulty, attaining a grade that they want, people are having difficulty understanding maths, people are having difficulty in or various areas of life.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, and certain problems we cannot share with our parents, of course, so we resort to our friends. When we grow up, we become adults and we realize our friends are busy, so we get frustrated, like there's no one to share. But then we find a YouTube video and a person exactly understands what I'm going through. I think that gives me hope that there are more people out there like me. So I'm not alone.
Yeah.
So that sense of unity is there, like I'm not alone. I have more people in this, and they have gone through and they made it, right? They made it. This is not the end for me.
Right.
So when I went through tough times, I watched videos from Ustad Noman Ali Khan, Jay Shetty, even Hindu monks out there, Buddhist monks. Brilliant wisdom, right? So if it's something wise, and I listened to them, they said amazing words, timeless words. So yeah, like those content, the thing that you're trying to accomplish on YouTube, I was fascinated by this, and I was like, why don't more people know about this great initiative? That's why I told you, more people should know this. But I feel like there will come a point, because when you put enough effort, I believe there will come a point like Allah will open doors and it will rise up. That's what happened with all the giants. They kept pushing and pushing, and then suddenly it had happened, But
exactly.
Neither you can stop, neither we can stop. We have to constantly engage in making the world a better place. That's what I believe,
Yeah, that's true. So that's where I get my inspiration from, because all of the YouTube channels that are big right now, they've been doing it for years.
Yes.
10 years, 12 years. Unbox Therapy, he's been doing it for 12 years, I think.
If you see the first videos of Unbox Therapy,
I know.
It's absolutely crazy. And then right now, 13 million subscribers. He kept pushing. And then Marcus Brownlee. I remember one of his videos it was a Q&A video. It was a special Q&A video because it was his 100th YouTube video. And he shared how much subscriber he has at the 100th video mark. Do you know how many he had? 79. 79 after 100 videos, but he kept pushing. Yeah. And that person now is sent the most expensive gadgets to try out first, right?
He talks to Bill Gates, he talks with Elon Musk.
He got a tour from Tesla.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I was like blown away when Elon Musk literally showed him everything, and I was like, he achieved this by nothing other than his YouTube channel. That's it. Not his degree, not his education, nothing. Just his pursuit of making his YouTube channel a better thing. And that's what got him to places. So yeah, that's brilliant.
Hard work,
yeah,
discipline, and consistency.
Hard work, discipline, consistency, yes.
Yes, that's what we need.
Yep.
That's what I fear the coming generation lacks, because it's like they take everything for granted.
They do. But inshallah, hopefully they will adapt. And if we can guide them, if we can make ourselves better and then be in a position to guide them better, I feel change is gonna come soon.
All right, guys. So this episode was a bit different than the other ones. This was kind of all around the park. We didn't really get to ask you about your personal life much.
Maybe some other day.
Maybe some other time, yeah. So let's keep it here because it's getting very long. So that will be it for this episode of Deep Dive. I hope you like it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one.
Subscribe. Hit the bell notification button.
Yes, hit the bell.
Thank you for watching, if you watched till now.